Jaya Kobichanavana Hava Girivana Dari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Nanjana Yashoda Nandana Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Nanjana Yashoda Nandana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Jaya Rata Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Rata Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Jagannath Jagannath Jaya Parade Jaya Subhaja Jaya Jagannath Jaya Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Rukmini Dogadish Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jam Vishnupada Panamaham Saparida Jakcharya Ashtadara Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai Iskam Vandacharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupada Panamahamsa Parida Jakcharya Ashtadar Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shira Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gaur Govindan Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai Gangamai Chamunamai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Transcendental Prasada Distribution Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai Iskon Yutvagadam Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pramanandi Hari Hari Haribo All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis Hare Krishna All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Namo Vishnu Shasmati Namo Vishnu Sabdi Namo Shasmati Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasam Tattva Jayam Udidrayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 12, text number 30. Naitat Puvai Kritam Tvat Ye Na Harishanti. Sorry, it's Karishanti Chapere Yas Tvam Duhitaram Gache Anikrihyang Gacham Prabhu. One second. Naita Puvai Kritam Tadye Nakarishanti Chapare Yastantu Hitaram Gache Anikihyang Gajam Prabhu. Naita Puvai Kritam Tadye Nakarishanti Chapare Yastantu Hitaram Gache Anikihyang Gajam Prabhu. Naita Puvai Kritam Tadye Nakarishanti Chapare Yastantu Hitaram Gache Anikrihyang Gajam Prabhu. Mataji's Na, never. Etat, such a thing. Puvahai, by any other Brahma, or yourself in any previous kalpa. Kritam, performed. Tvat, by you. Ye, that which. Na, no. Kari Shanti, will do. Cha, also. Apare, anyone else. Yaha, that which. Tvam, you. Duhitaram, unto the daughter. Gachehe, would go. Oh, would go, right? Would do. Would go, right? It's very strange, you know. Yeah, sometimes, you know, some differences there. I see. Ani krihya, without controlling. Angajam, sex desire. Prabhu, O Father. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone desire, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the Supreme Being in the universe. So how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? Purport. The post of Brahma is the supermost post in the universe. And it appears that there are many Brahmas and many universes besides the one in which we are situated. One who fills this post must be ideal in behavior, for Brahma sets the example for all living entities. Brahma, the living entity who is the most pious and spiritually elevated, is entrusted with the post next to that of the personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timinandasya Gyananjana Shadakaya Chakshu Uminitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtan Stapidan Yena Bhutade Swayanupakadama Hyan Tadati Swam Padandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Lakunata Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savatuta Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindava Nishwari Rishabhanu Sudhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhatra Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Naitat Puvai Kritan Twadye Nakarishanti Chapare Tastvam Duhitaram Gachir Ani Grihyang Gajam Prabhu. So here the son of Lord Brahma is asking the questions to their father, Lord Brahma. They are asking, "Oh Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the supreme being in the universe. So how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he said that one who fills the post of Brahma must be ideal in behavior, for he sets the example for all living entities. So in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 21, Lord Krishna, he said, Yaya acharati shreshtas tata evai taro jana saya pumanam kurute lokasta anuvatate. Krishna tells Arjuna that whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Prabhupada, he said that people in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra or scripture to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scripture. The revealed scripture, like Manusamhita and similar others, are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principle of such standard shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees. And that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. So, it is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Lord Brahma's becoming victims of the sensuous urge reminds me the story of Sobari Muni in the ninth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we know that Sobari Muni is actually a very powerful rishi. He was so advanced that in order to avoid his mind being attracted by the object of the senses, he was hiding underneath of the water and performed great, tapasya. He was meditating underneath of the water in order to avoid distractions from the, object of the senses. And in order to practice mystical yoga meditation, one has to sit very straight and with half-open eyes, so his eyes should stir on the tips of the nose. So his eye cannot completely close. If he completely closes his eyes, then he will fall asleep. And if he opens his eyes too much, then he will be attracted by the, object of the senses. So a yogi, while performing mystic yoga practice, he has to half close his eye and stirs on his tip of the nose. But one day, Sobari Muni, he opened his eyes a little bit more, and he saw two fishes having sex in front of his eyes. And immediately, the lusty desire within his heart, become manifested. And immediately he cannot meditate anymore. So he came out from the water and asked the king to marry him, his daughter. So in the beginning, he was asking the king to give only one daughter to him for marriage. But, after transforming himself into a very young, handsome man, all the 50 daughters of the king wants to marry him. So Sobari Muni, he married all the 50, daughters of the king, And he wasted so much time, with the wife of the kings. And then later on, he lamented that instead of practice of spiritual life, he has been wasting so much time in these worldly affairs. And actually, in the purport of one of the story of Sobari Muni, Prabhupada, he speaks really very nice. I want to share with everyone. Let's see here. Prabhupada, he said, material desire is just like a blazing fire. If a fire is continually supplied with drops of fat, the fire will increase more and more and never be extinguished. Therefore, the policy of trying to satisfy material desires by catering to one's material demands will never be successful. In modern civilization, everyone is engaged in economic development, which is another way of constantly dropping fat into the material fire. The Western countries have reached the summit of material civilization, but people are still dissatisfied. Real satisfaction is Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text number 29, where Krishna says, Bhaktanam yagya tapasyam savaloka maheshwaram suhritam sava bhutanam gyatva mam shanti richati. The sages who knows me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and authorities, the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. One must therefore stick to Krishna consciousness and advance in Krishna consciousness by properly following the regulative principles. Then one can attain an eternal, blissful life in peace and knowledge. So I just stop here. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu. Microphone, please.
Thank you for such a nice class. You mentioned the object of the senses. Can you provide what that is?
So, object of the senses. For example, our eye want to see beautiful things. So beautiful things are the object of our eye. And our tongue want to taste very tasteful food. So taste the food is our object of the senses. Like that, Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Yes, another question.
In the verse it said that nobody will ever think of performing this activity in the future of a father trying to have sex with his daughter, but we see that actually happens a lot in Kali Yuga. So can you explain? It seems like the verse is not accurate.
What is the question again? Can you explain what? The last one. No.
Yes, in the verse it says that no one will ever perform this ferocious activity ever again, but we see that actually it does happen.
Actually, I do not know why, it's happening like that, Yeah, Achita Prabhu, have something,
Hare Krishna. You have to look at the context. They're talking to Lord Brahma. They're saying that you haven't done this in the past, you won't do it in the future, nor will anyone, meaning of your stature. Obviously, you're in the material world. It's full of conditioned souls. You can't make a blanket statement that no conditioned soul is going to commit sinful activities. They're always committing sinful activities. So it's in relation to Lord Brahma and someone of that stature. That's what that statement is talking about.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. Anyone else have questions or comments? Is okay now.
Yes. Right, you're speaking
so,
of
Sobari Muni, yes.
And this is the same person looking at the fish, and he was okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, Prem Sankirtan Prabhu.
What is the best way to overcome sexual desire?
So by engaging our senses in the service, of the Lord Krishna. It is said that Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. So bhakti means to engage our senses in the active service of Krishna. For example, our eye naturally want to see beautiful things. So instead of engaging our eye to look the beauty of the women, we can engage our eyes looking the beautiful deities of the Lord. And our ears naturally want to hear beautiful music. So instead of hearing the mundane music, we can engage our ear to hear, kirtan or the, topics about Krishna. And similarly, our tongue likes to eat, palatable foodstuffs. So instead of engaging our tongue to eat all kinds of abominable meat, we can engage our tongue in this, in tasting nectarian Krishna Prasad. So if we can engage all our senses in the service of Lord Krishna, then naturally the mind will be controlled. Yeah, that's the main thing. That's why we have to be 24 hours a day to be engaged in the service of Krishna. Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. Oh.
I just wanted to make one short comment, and that is that the very purpose of a chapter like this is to warn all of us, especially those of us who may be strong, resistant, one who can ignore the opposite sex, one who can transcend that type of attachment or attraction. Sometimes a person or a devotee may feel, well, I'm above that now. I don't have that problem anymore. It's beneath me, so why even worry about it? So Lord Brahma was such a person. He was actually very high, very advanced, and was such a person who would never be attracted to his daughter of all persons, someone so close. So if he could be attracted to his daughter, then what to speak of us? Even though we may be doing very well, we may be strong and resistant, not even look at the opposite sex, nonetheless, because that desire is so strong, it's so powerful, it's so intense, that we can be overcome at any given time, and then we find all kinds of rationalizations, excuses for it, to justify it, which is even worse, but nonetheless we yield. So what it's saying here is that that can happen to any of us. So if it can, then we need to pray to the Lord with all our heart and soul. Lord, I have weakness. Lord, I can fall. Lord, I'm desperate now, even though I'm not falling now, but I could in a future time. So please strengthen me. Please enable me. Please help me to always be in this dependent state, because if you protect me, nobody can harm me. But if you don't, and I think I'm protected by my own stamina or strength, then I'm already fallen. So that is the most important. We all have to think like that, because anytime you get to think that, well, I'm very strong, and a pretty girl or pretty handsome man talks to you, and you think, well, I'm not really attracted. But then you go home that night and you start to lie down and you start dreaming about that person or thinking about that person. He says, no, that's just in my mind. But it continues. So that can happen to any of us. It starts and then it multiplies again and again and again until finally that person who said that I could never be affected then begins to drum up a conversation with that very person, thinking that it's for something philosophical or spiritual or benevolent, but really is for something deeper, lower, and not what he likes to believe it, and it turns out to develop into that. So therefore we can never be so proud as to think we're strong, we're great, we're wonderful. Rather we should be in the position that we're weak, we can fall, we have qualities and that can cause us to fall. And if we have that position, then we cry out, Krishna, prevent that, protect me, I need that. And that's all, then you won't fall.
Thank you very much for the wonderful point. It reminds me a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, Devi Hisha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Prabhatyante Maya Evam Tarantite. Krishna tells Arjuna that this material energy is actually divine energy, because it's coming from Krishna. So nobody can overcome this material energy on his own. But one who surrenders to Krishna, one who can, follow the teachings of Lord Sri Krishna, then he can easily overcome the influence of this material energy. So,
as they surrender unto me, Krishna says, I reward them accordingly. What is that reward? A strength that he normally would not have.
Right. Thank you, Maharaj. So, any other questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu. Wait, microphone. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, does Maya work in Brahmaloka also? Because Brahmaji got such type of desire by uncontrolled senses. So, by the reason of Krishna Maya, or this is different thing, something?
So, if I understand your question correctly, you're asking that Lord Brahma's becoming attracted by his daughter is belong to Mahamaya or Yogamaya, right?
Yeah, because Brahmaloka, I think I want to know, Krishna Maya also work in Brahmlok?
It's in this material world, so that means even great personality of Lord Brahma can also become victim of the material energy. It's definitely, Lord Brahma is definitely influenced by the material energy. Yeah, it's Mahamaya. Yeah, I would say like that, it's Mahamaya. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
My pleasure. Yes, Prabhu. Just wait for the microphone. Yeah.
Pretty loud. So the illusionary energy of Maya, it's not demoniac?
The original Maya is Yoga Maya in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, actually, the living entity is considered marginal energy. That means marginal, just like the seaside, at the shore of the sea. So the shore sometimes can be covered by water and sometimes will not be covered by the water. So similarly, the living entity, because of the marginal energy of the Lord, so sometimes he will be covered by spiritual energy, Yoga Maya, or sometimes he will be covered by material energy or Mahamaya. It's like that, But in this material world, all the living entities is actually covered by Mahamaya. Whereas in the spiritual world, all the living entities, they are covered by Yoga Maya. Yeah, it's like that. Yes, Prabhu.
Did Brahma take any punishment for this?
What's that?
Did Brahma take any punishment for this?
Lord Brahma give us punishment. That's your.
Did he get punished for it?
Yes, actually, Lord Brahma, he punished himself by, quitting that body. He became so ashamed, before his sons. So immediately, he quitted that body. He punished himself like that. Yeah, actually, he's only committed that, that activities within the mind. He didn't do that, that means he didn't really engage sex with his daughter, just in his mind. And in order to punish himself, he immediately quitted that body, He left that body. Lord Brahma, he is so powerful, Yeah. Yes, Maharaj.
Just coming back to the question just before the last one. In the spiritual world, and I think you made the point, but I'm just emphasizing it a little bit more, is that in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as material sex. There is a sex, but it is the sex of the heart of the living being with the heart of the supreme being. And there is a union there. Just as in material sex, there's a union between the organs of the male and the female. But in the spiritual world, the union is, and that union in the spiritual world is based upon surrender, service, love, devotion, dedication. It has nothing to do with me and mine. It has all to do with giving and offering to the Lord.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thanks. You have another thing? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, Bhagavad Gita said that if anyone engage or like always engage in Krishna Seva, then there is no chance of fall down. Then Brahmaji always in service of Krishna, Supreme Personality of God. Then how it is possible to like fall down of Brahmaji in this?
Yeah, actually in the Shastra, it is said that many times the demigods, they are becoming proud because of their, because of their extraordinary power. Like, even Lord Indra, sometimes he becomes proud of his power, thinking that he is the supreme controller. Yeah, and he would fall from that kind of position. So Lord Brahma is the same, you know. Sometimes because of the power, you know, he might think that he's the supreme personality of God. He's Lord of all laws, you know. That's why he might, you know, fall from that kind of position.
So this is false ego, like I, like that, or something.
Is it possible what?
Like I, because we feel I am like Brahmaji feel like that I am supreme personality, like.
I can't understand your question.
Was it false ego, and he was thinking I am the supreme?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Wonder how even a demigod could ever come to the conclusion that he is God, that he's so high, he's so great, he's so wonderful. But we have very many examples right here in the material world. When you are bowed down to so many times, when you're glorified so many times, when people look up to you, they think of you as a God, they think of you as all in all, you begin to believe it. That's the problem. When you receive it, in your mind you say, no, I'm not the God, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, you're saved. But as soon as you actually start believing it, feeling it, thinking it, willing it, you're lost. And that's really the thing. And that can happen to any of us, actually. So whenever we're praised, whenever we're honored, whenever we're glorified, whenever we're applauded, in our mind we should say, this belongs to Krishna, because he is the supreme doer. And he is giving me the ability, the power, the greatness, which people think is coming from me, but really is coming from him.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Okay,
so time is over, huh? We will stop here. Kantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hari Hari.
Thanks for a nice class. Wonderful.
Thank you, Maharaj.